My name is Elise Harper. I'm 34. On Saturday, March 18th at 6:47 p.m., I was standing against the back wall of the VFW hall on a broken ankle, hairline fracture, 5 days post-surgery, surgeon's orders were strict bed rest, while my mother pointed at an empty chair 15 feet away and said to the room of 53 guests, "It's just a chair, Elise. You can stand in the corner. Travis needs somewhere to sit." My brother Travis was 26, perfectly healthy, and drunk enough that he'd already knocked over 2 champagne flutes. The chair he needed was mine, the one I'd arranged to be placed near the exit specifically so I could leave without making a scene when the pain medication wore off. "Mom, I just had surgery on Tuesday," I said. My voice came out smaller than I wanted. "The doctor said I shouldn't be putting weight on it for another week." "Well, you shouldn't have scheduled surgery right before our anniversary party, should you?" My mother's smile didn't waver. She was wearing the burgundy dress I'd helped her pick out, the one I'd driven to 3 different department stores to find because she wanted something that would photograph well. "This is our night, sweetheart. Surely you can tough it out for 2 hours." My father appeared beside her, his hand on her shoulder. "Your mother's right. We only get one 35th anniversary." He looked at me the way he'd been looking at me for 6 months, like I was a problem that needed managing. "Besides, you organized this whole thing from your couch, didn't you? You're clearly capable of more than you let on." The room had gone quiet. 53 people, aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends, my parents' church group, watching. I could feel my face burning, could feel the throb in my ankle intensifying with each heartbeat. "I organized it because you asked me to," I said quietly. "I did the venue measurements while I was still on crutches. I finalized the catering contracts from the hospital waiting room before they took me back for pre-op." "And we appreciate that," my mother said, her voice saccharine. "Which is why we're not making a big deal out of this little mishap with Travis. He's going through a difficult time right now, and family supports family. Right, Elise?" That phrase, family supports family. She'd been saying it for months, ever since Travis showed up at their house at 2 a.m. in January with a DUI charge and $6,000 in gambling debts. Ever since my savings account, the joint account I'd opened with my mother when I was 16, the one I'd kept meaning to close, started showing withdrawals I didn't make. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time it is there. I didn't argue. I moved to the corner, leaning against the wall, my surgical boot already digging into the soft tissue around the incision. Travis took my chair without looking at me. Someone started clinking their glass for a speech. Let me take you back 8 years to understand why this moment mattered. To understand why I'd spent 6 months ignoring what was right in front of me. It was July 2017, and I was 26, sitting in Aunt Donna's kitchen in the house on Mapleview Drive. She was making her famous lemon bars, the ones with the cornstarch crust that somehow stayed crispy for 3 days. Her kitchen always smelled like vanilla and cardamom. She had this habit of humming while she measured ingredients, old jazz standards she'd grown up with. "Your mother called me yesterday," Aunt Donna said, not looking up from the mixing bowl. "Said you were being difficult about the business loan." I was working 2 jobs back then, event planning by day, bartending Thursday through Saturday nights. I'd asked my parents to co-sign on a small business loan so I could start my own event planning company. They'd said no because Travis needed the money more. He was starting a consulting business that, 8 years later, had never consulted on anything. "I'm not being difficult," I said. "I just think if they have $15,000 to give Travis, they could at least co-sign a loan for me." Aunt Donna stopped stirring. She wiped her hands on her apron, the yellow one with the strawberries, and sat down across from me. "Ellie Bean," she said. That was her name for me. Ellie Bean. "I want you to remember something. Your value isn't determined by their priorities. You hear me?" I nodded, but I didn't really hear her. Not then. "I'm serious." She reached across and took my hand. Your mother has always had a blind spot when it comes to Travis. Your father enables it, but that doesn't mean you stop showing up as yourself. You keep being the person who drives 200 miles to help me plant tomatoes, the person who remembers everyone's birthday and sends actual cards in the mail, the person who organized that whole Rotary Gala fundraiser on 3 weeks' notice and raised $40,000. Anyone could have done that, I said. But you did it. She squeezed my hand. Remember this conversation, Ellie Bean. If things ever get ugly with your parents, and they might, remember that I saw you. All of you. The real you. 3 weeks ago, Aunt Donna died. Heart attack, sudden, at 72. I got the call at 6:14 a.m. from my mother who said, "Donna's gone. We need you to handle the funeral arrangements. You're good at that sort of thing." I'd stood there in my apartment, phone pressed to my ear, and thought, she didn't say she was sorry. She didn't ask if I was okay. She assigned me a task. But I did it anyway, because that's what I did. I handled things. The first betrayal came on a Thursday, February 9th, 2:30 p.m. I was in my apartment reviewing the budget for a corporate event, a pharmaceutical company's sales conference, 200 attendees, black tie optional. My phone rang. My mother. "Elise, we need to talk about your spending." I looked up from my laptop. My spending? The joint account. There have been some concerning transactions. My stomach dropped. The joint account. The one I'd been meaning to close for years but kept open because my mother insisted it was easier for family emergencies. The one that held $18,000. My savings from 3 years of 12-hour days and weekend gigs. "What transactions?" I asked. "4 withdrawals in the past 6 weeks, $18,000 total. And the most concerning part, Elise, is that they were all made during times when your father and I were both at home, which means you had to have made them." The room tilted. "I didn't make any withdrawals." "Well, they couldn't have made themselves." Her voice was sharp now. "Your father checked. The bank confirmed all 4 transactions were initiated with your account credentials." "That's impossible. I haven't touched that account since December, and that was a $50 deposit from Aunt Donna's Christmas check." "Elise." My mother's tone shifted to something worse than anger. Disappointment. "I know you've been struggling since you hurt your ankle. I know the medical bills have been piling up, but stealing from your own family— I didn't steal anything." My hands were shaking. "Mom, I swear I didn't make those withdrawals. Someone else did." "Who? Your father? Me?" She laughed, bitter. "We don't need your money, sweetheart. Travis mentioned he was worried about you. He said you'd been asking him for loans, that you'd seemed desperate." "Travis said what?" "He's concerned about you. We all are. And now with these pain medications you're on, we're wondering if you're making decisions you don't remember making." Aunt Donna used to do that, near the end. The medications confused her. I felt something crack inside my chest. "I'm not confused. I didn't take that money. Then where did it go?" I had no answer. The call ended with my mother saying she'd handle it quietly because she didn't want to embarrass me. She'd transfer money to cover what I'd taken, and we'd never speak of it again. I pulled up my bank statements. 4 withdrawals. January 15th, $4,200. January 28th, $5,100. February 2nd, $4,300. February 6th, $4,400. All made at ATMs I'd never been to. All during times I could prove I was somewhere else, but I didn't have proof yet. Not proof anyone would believe. Over the next 3 weeks, the story spread. I knew because people stopped calling. My cousin Rachel, who usually texted me 3 times a week, went silent. My friend Morgan from college suddenly couldn't meet for coffee. My Aunt Patricia, my mother's sister, left me a voicemail that said, "I hope you get the help you need, sweetie." The Rotary Club canceled my contract for their spring gala. The email was polite. Due to budget restructuring. But I'd worked with them for 4 years. I knew what budget restructuring meant. My business was bleeding. I'd had 6 new client inquiries in January. By March, I had zero. My mother's version of the story was specific. I'd developed a dependency on pain medication after my ankle surgery. I was making impulsive financial decisions. I was struggling and needed support, not judgment. It was the perfect lie. It had just enough truth to sound plausible. I did have surgery. I was taking pain medication. I was struggling financially because she'd taken my money. On March 11th, 7 days before the anniversary party, I got a call from Travis. "Hey, Ellie." His voice was hoarse. Hungover, probably. "Mom wanted me to check on you." "I'm fine." "You don't sound fine. Listen, I know things have been hard. If you need help—" "I need help?" I laughed. It came out wrong, shaky. "Travis, did you take money from the joint account?" Silence. Then, "What? No. Why would I—" "Because Mom said you were worried about me, because you told her I'd been asking you for loans. I never asked you for anything." "I don't know what you want me to say, Ellie." "The truth would be nice." He hung up. The surgery on my ankle happened because I'd fallen down a half flight of stairs at a venue site. I'd been measuring the space for a wedding, 252 guests, seated dinner, dance floor, and the owner had forgotten to mention the back stairwell had a loose railing. I grabbed it, it gave way, I fell. Hairline fracture, lateral malleolus, 6 weeks recovery time. The surgery was supposed to be simple. They'd pin the bone, I'd be on crutches for a month, then physical therapy for another month. I'd be back to work by May. But the medical bills were $3,800 after insurance. My rent was $1,200 a month. I had exactly $627 in my personal checking account because $18,000 had vanished from the account I'd considered my safety net. I couldn't pay for physical therapy. I couldn't afford the follow-up appointments. I'd been rationing the pain medication because the refill cost $85. And my mother knew all of this, because I'd told her. I'd called her the day after surgery and explained that I was going to be short on rent this month, that the medical bills were more than I'd expected. She'd said, "Well, maybe you should have been more careful with your money." I survived March by picking up whatever freelance work I could do from my couch. I planned a baby shower for a friend of a friend. I designed a timeline for a small backyard wedding. I made $900 total. On March 14th, my mother appeared at my apartment without calling first. I was sitting on the couch, laptop open, halfway through finalizing the seating chart for her anniversary party. I'd color-coded it by family dynamics. Who couldn't sit near who needed to be near the bathroom, who would monopolize conversation if placed next to the quiet guests. She walked in. I'd given her a key years ago for emergencies, and stood in my living room looking around like she was cataloging evidence. "This place is a mess," she said. There were 2 coffee cups on the side table and a stack of file folders on the floor. That was it. "I've been working," I said. "Where's Travis's gift?" She walked further in, picking up a folder, setting it down. "For the party. You said you'd handle it." "It's in the closet. The whiskey decanter set you picked out. I wrapped it yesterday." "Good." She sat down on the chair across from me. "Ellie, your father and I are concerned." "About what?" "About you. About your judgment." She folded her hands in her lap. "We think you need help, professional help, for the medication issue." "I don't have a medication issue." "Denial is part of the problem, sweetheart." Her voice was gentle, which somehow made it worse. "We've talked to Pastor Mike. He recommended a therapist who specializes in addiction recovery. We'd be happy to pay for the sessions. We just need you to admit there's a problem." I stared at her. "You took $18,000 from our account. You gave it to Travis, and now you're trying to convince me I'm the problem." She blinked. Once, twice, then, "Elise, I'm trying to help you." "By lying to everyone we know?" "I haven't lied to anyone." She stood up. "I've told people you're going through a difficult time. That's not a lie. Look at you, you can barely walk. You're living off freelance work. You're isolated. These are symptoms, honey. We're just trying to get you to see that. Get out. Excuse me? Get out of my apartment. Now. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she walked to the door, paused, turned back. You're making this harder than it needs to be. All we want is for you to acknowledge what's happening so we can help you move forward. Family supports family, Elise, but you have to meet us halfway. Then she left. I sat there on my couch for 27 minutes without moving. Then I opened my laptop and finished the seating chart for their anniversary party. Because that's what I did. I handled things. The party was a Saturday, March 18th. I'd arranged everything: the VFW hall, which had availability and was in their budget, the navy and silver decorations, the dinner menu, herb-crusted chicken, roasted vegetables, twice-baked potatoes, the cake from Stella's Bakery on 14th Street, the playlist that mixed their favorite Motown with contemporary easy listening. I'd worked on this party from my couch for 6 weeks. I'd done walkthroughs on crutches. I'd negotiated with vendors over the phone while sitting in the hospital waiting room before my surgery. And now I was standing in the corner, ankle throbbing, while my brother sat in my chair and my parents accepted congratulations from 53 guests who believed I was a struggling addict who'd stolen from my own family. My father gave a speech. He thanked everyone for coming. He thanked my mother for 35 years of marriage. He thanked Travis for being a rock during difficult times. He didn't mention me. My mother gave a speech. She talked about family, about loyalty, about how important it was to support each other through challenges. She looked directly at me when she said challenges. Then Travis stood up, swaying slightly, and said, "I want to say something about my sister." My stomach clenched. "Elise has always been the responsible one," he said. "The one who does everything right, plans everything perfectly. But sometimes," he paused for effect, "sometimes doing everything right means you forget to take care of yourself. And we've seen that lately. She's been struggling, but we love her anyway." The room murmured approval. Someone said, "That's beautiful, Travis." I wanted to scream. I wanted to walk out. Instead, I stood against the wall and counted ceiling tiles. 48 tiles, 8 rows of 6. After the speeches, people started approaching me. Aunt Patricia, with tears in her eyes. "We're praying for you, honey." My cousin Rachel. "Let me know if you need anything." My parents' friend Donald. "Recovery is a journey. Be patient with yourself." Every single person believed the story. Every single person thought they were being kind. At 8:15 p.m., a woman I didn't recognize walked up to me. She was older, maybe 70, with silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. "You're Elise," she said. "Yes." "I'm Margaret Chen. I was a friend of your Aunt Donna's. We were in the same book club for 30 years. I felt something shift in my chest. "Aunt Donna talked about you. She said you were the only person who'd read War and Peace willingly." Margaret smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Your aunt gave me something before she died. She made me promise to wait until after the funeral to give it to you. And then your mother told me you were dealing with some issues and might not be in the right frame of mind to receive it." She reached into her purse. "But Donna was very specific about the timing. She said if your parents threw any kind of party within a month of her death, I should find you there and give you this." She handed me a small key, brass, old-fashioned, attached to a paper tag with numbers written in Aunt Donna's handwriting. 847-B. "What is this?" "Safe deposit box, First National Bank on Highland Avenue. She opened it 8 years ago." Margaret squeezed my hand. "She loved you very much, Ellie Bean. She wanted you to know that whatever happened after she was gone, she'd already handled it." Then Margaret walked away, leaving me standing in the corner with a key in my hand and 43 minutes left on my pain medication. I left the party at 8:52 p.m. I told no one. I walked, limped, to my car in the parking lot and sat there for 10 minutes, staring at the key. Safe deposit box. 8 years ago. Right around the time I'd asked my parents for the business loan and they'd chosen Travis instead. I drove to First National Bank at 9:06 a.m. on Monday morning. The bank manager, a woman named Linda Stevens, checked my ID twice before opening the safe deposit box room. Your aunt added you as an authorized signer 3 years ago, Linda said, though she specified the box shouldn't be accessed until after her death. Box 847B was small. Inside was a manila envelope sealed with red wax. Aunt Donna's handwriting on the front. For Elise Harper, to be opened in private. I took it to my car. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely break the seal. Inside the envelope were 3 things: a letter, a stack of documents, and a business card for an attorney named Marcus Rothman. The letter was in Aunt Donna's handwriting. I read it sitting in the bank parking lot, and I read it 3 times before I believed it. Dear Ellie Bean, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and your mother is already doing what I knew she would do. She's either taken your money, spread lies about you, or both. I'm sorry I couldn't stop this while I was alive. I tried, but Vivian doesn't hear reason. She only hears documentation. Do you remember that day in my kitchen 8 years ago? When I told you your value isn't determined by their priorities? I meant it. I also knew that one day you'd need more than words. You'd need proof. The original joint account agreement is with Marcus Rothman. I've included his card. His office is at 1847 Northwest Professional Plaza, Suite 300. The copy I've left you shows that your mother added Travis as an authorized user on your account in 2021 without your knowledge or signature. The bank has the security footage from January and February showing Travis making the withdrawals. I paid for it. I paid for all of it. Inside this envelope, the account agreement showing unauthorized access, bank statements from January to February 2025 with timestamps, security footage stills showing Travis at the ATM, the deed to the condo at 2847 Riverside Way. Yes, the condo. The one your parents bought for $87,000 in 2023 and rent out for $1,200 a month. The one they told you they couldn't afford, so they couldn't help with your medical bills. I bought that condo, Ellie Bean. I put it in your name. I just had your parents manage it until you were ready to know. They kept the rent. All of it. $28,000 over 2 years. Marcus has the original deed and the rental agreements. Your parents forged your signature on the rental contracts. They pocketed every payment. Travis knew. He's been living off that money for 2 years. Don't show this to anyone yet. Not Rachel, not Morgan. Wait until the right time. Marcus will know what to do. You are not struggling. You are not confused. You are not an addict. You are exactly who I always knew you were. Someone who shows up, who keeps promises, who remembers birthdays and drives 200 miles to plant tomatoes. Family should support family. But Ellie Bean, that goes both ways. All my love, Aunt Donna. Remember, Ellie Bean, I saw you, all of you. I sat in that parking lot for 47 minutes. I cried once for maybe 3 minutes. Then I stopped. Then I called Marcus Rothman. He picked up on the second ring. Rothman and Associates. My name is Elise Harper. I think you're expecting my call. Ms. Harper. His voice was kind. I've been expecting your call for 3 weeks. I'm very sorry for your loss. Donna was an extraordinary woman. She gave me a letter and documents. Good. Can you come to my office this afternoon? Say 2 p.m.? Yes. Bring the envelope. Bring everything. And Ms. Harper, don't tell your parents. Not yet. At 2 p.m., I sat in Marcus Rothman's office, a corner suite with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown. He was 60-something, with wire-rimmed glasses and a calm demeanor that made me feel like I could breathe for the first time in weeks. He spread the documents across his desk. Your aunt came to me 8 years ago with a very specific request. She said, "My niece is going to need protection from my sister, and she won't know she needs it until it's too late." She was right. Why didn't she tell me? She wanted to. But she knew if you confronted your parents before you had legal standing, they'd find a way to destroy the evidence or shift the narrative. She wanted you to have irrefutable proof at the exact moment you needed it. He showed me everything. The original condo deed, with my name as sole owner. The rental agreements my parents had signed using a forged version of my signature. A signature expert had already authenticated that it was fake. The bank statements, showing every withdrawal Travis had made. The security footage Aunt Donna had purchased that showed Travis at the ATM, counting cash, looking over his shoulder. "Your aunt paid for a forensic accountant," Marcus said. She tracked where the money went. Travis's DUI legal fees, his gambling debts to 3 different online casinos, a pawnshop loan, a down payment on a used car he totaled 6 weeks later. Your mother knew about all of it. She authorized the transfers. Why? My voice cracked. Why would she do this? Marcus leaned back in his chair. I've practiced family law for 32 years. The answer is usually simpler than you think. Your mother has always favored your brother. Your father enables it. And you, forgive me for being blunt, you made it easy. You kept showing up. You kept helping. You never demanded anything in return. So it's my fault. No, he leaned forward. It's their fault. But now you have a choice. You can let this continue, or you can take legal action. Your aunt set up everything you need. The condo is yours. The rent they collected is yours. The $18,000 from your savings account is documented theft. You can file a civil lawsuit. You can press criminal charges if you want. Or, he paused. You can do what your aunt suggested. What did she suggest? Wait for the right moment. Confront them publicly with evidence they can't deny. Let them destroy themselves. He slid a paper across the desk. She wrote this 3 years ago. It's a script of sorts, suggestions for what to say and when. I looked at the paper. Aunt Donna's handwriting, methodical and clear. A battle plan. When? I asked. That's up to you. But if I were you, I'd wait until they're at their most confident, when they think they've won. The anniversary party had been on a Saturday. The following Friday, my mother called. "Elise, we need to talk about the condo." My heart stopped. What condo? The one on Riverside Way, the one we've been managing for you. We think it's time to sell it. The market's good right now, and you need the money. I kept my voice steady. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play games, honey. Aunt Donna put that property in your name before she died. She told us she wanted us to handle it until you were stable enough to manage it yourself. We've been collecting the rent and holding it for you. But given your recent issues, we think it's better to liquidate the asset and put the money somewhere safe, where you can't access it impulsively. I counted to 5. How much rent have you collected? That's not important right now. What's important is, how much, Mom? Around $28,000, which we're happy to give you once you've completed the addiction counseling we discussed. I see. Good. We'll talk this weekend. Your father and I are having a small lunch on Sunday. Just family. We can discuss the details then. She hung up before I could respond. I called Marcus immediately. They just tried to sell the condo. They told me they've been holding the rent money for me. Perfect, he said. That's fraud and extortion. Do you want to press charges? Not yet. I want to do what Aunt Donna suggested, Sunday lunch. Can you be there? Absolutely, Sunday, March 26th, 12:30 p.m. My parents' house on Elmwood Drive. The same house I'd grown up in, the same dining room where I'd sat through 1,000 family dinners. Travis was already there when I arrived, sprawled on the couch with a beer. My parents were in the kitchen. I could smell pot roast. Ellie, my mother emerged, wiping her hands on a towel. I'm so glad you came. We weren't sure you would. You said it was important. It is. Come sit down. Let's eat first, then we'll talk business. We ate pot roast. We made small talk about the weather, about the anniversary party, about Travis's new consulting client that was definitely going to be his big break this time. No one mentioned my ankle. No one asked if I was okay. At 1:47 p.m., after dessert, my father cleared his throat. Elise, about the condo. We found a buyer, someone from the church. They're offering 92,000, 5,000 over what Aunt Donna paid. We think you should take it. Why? Because you need the money. Ooh, and because we don't trust you to manage the property yourself right now. I set down my coffee cup. I see. And the rent you've been collecting? We'll give it to you, my mother said. Once you've completed 3 months of counseling and drug testing, it's for your own good, honey. We're not trying to punish you. We're trying to protect you from yourself. I looked at Travis. He was staring at his phone, not making eye contact. Did you know about this, Travis? I asked. He shrugged. It's your property, your decision. But did you know they've been collecting rent on it for 2 years? I mean, yeah, they mentioned it. And did you know Aunt Donna put it in my name specifically so I'd have something stable? Something no one could take from me? He shifted uncomfortably. Mom and Dad were just trying to help manage it. I nodded slowly. Then I pulled out my phone. I want to show you something. Elise, if this is more of your conspiracy theories about the joint account, my mother started. It's not a theory, Mom. It's bank footage. I turned my phone around. On the screen, security footage from January 15th. Travis at an ATM, withdrawing $4,200. The timestamp was clear, 3:47 p.m. The room went silent. Where did you get that? My father asked. Aunt Donna, she paid for it. She paid for all of it. I pulled up the next video. January 28th. Travis. Same ATM, $5,100. She knew exactly what you were doing. She documented everything. My mother's face went white. Ellie, let me explain. You told everyone I stole my own money. You told them I was an addict. You spread that lie to my clients, my friends, my family. You cost me my business. We were trying to protect Travis, my father said quietly. From what? He was going to be arrested. The DUI, the gambling debts, he owed dangerous people. We needed to pay them off quickly, and you had money sitting in that account doing nothing. So you stole it and then blamed me. We didn't steal it, my mother said. We borrowed it. We were going to pay you back. When? After you sold my condo and kept that money too? I stood up. I know about the rental agreements, the forged signatures, the $28,000 you pocketed. I have all of it. Legal documents, expert testimony, everything. Travis stood up. Ellie, come on. We're family. You're really going to make this a legal thing? You made it a legal thing when you committed fraud. My mother started crying. How can you do this to us after everything we've done for you? What have you done for me, Mom? I kept my voice level. You took my money. You ruined my reputation. You tried to sell property that wasn't yours. You forced me to stand on a broken ankle at your party because Travis needed a chair. What exactly have you done for me? The doorbell rang. My father looked at me. Who's that? My attorney, Marcus Rothman. He has all the original documents. He also has a civil lawsuit ready to file if we can't come to an agreement today. Marcus entered with a briefcase and calm professional authority. He spread documents across the dining room table, account agreements, security footage stills, the condo deed, rental contracts with circled signatures. Mr. and Mrs. Harper, Marcus said, you have 3 options. 1. Return the $18,000 to Elise within 14 days, relinquish all claim to the condo property and its rental income, and sign a statement acknowledging your actions. 2. Face a civil lawsuit for fraud, theft, and defamation. 3. Elise can press criminal charges for identity theft and financial exploitation. My mother was sobbing now. We didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, I said. You destroyed my reputation to save Travis. You lied to everyone who cared about me, and you did it all while pretending to be concerned about my well-being. My father looked at the documents, then at me. If we pay you back, will you drop this? If you pay me back, sign a legal agreement, and publicly retract every lie you told about me, then yes, I won't pursue legal action. Publicly? My mother looked horrified. You want us to tell everyone we lied? Yes. Travis slammed his beer down. This is bullshit, Ellie. We're your family. Family supports family. I looked at him, really looked at him, at his bloodshot eyes, his defensive posture, his complete inability to take responsibility for anything. You're right, Travis. Family should support family. But that goes both ways. I turned to my parents. You have 48 hours to decide. After that, Marcus files the lawsuit. Then I walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't cry. I just left. 3 days later, my parents transferred $18,000 to my personal account. They signed a legal agreement relinquishing all claim to the condo. They sent a message to their church group, their book club, and 17 family members explaining that they had misunderstood the situation regarding my finances and that I was not struggling with any addiction issues. It wasn't a full apology, but it was public acknowledgement, and it was enough. Travis never apologized. He moved out of my parents' house 2 weeks later. I heard through my cousin Rachel that he's working at a car dealership now, living in a studio apartment, still convinced that I overreacted. My parents and I don't talk anymore. Not because I cut them off, but because they can't look at me without feeling ashamed. And I've realized I don't need their approval anymore. 6 months later, I'm living in the condo on Riverside Way, the one Aunt Donna bought for me. The one my parents tried to steal. It's small, 1 bedroom, updated kitchen, balcony with a river view, but it's mine. Actually, legally, irrevocably mine. I've rebuilt my event planning business, slowly. I lost some clients, but I gained new ones who actually value my work. Last month I organized a wedding for 180 guests and received a handwritten thank you note from the bride. It's hanging on my refrigerator. My ankle healed. It took longer than expected, 12 weeks instead of 6, because I couldn't afford physical therapy right away. But I can walk now without pain. I can stand for 8-hour events. I can dance at the weddings I plan. I visit Aunt Donna's grave every Sunday. I bring flowers, usually daisies, her favorites, and I tell her about my week, about the difficult clients and the successful events and the small victories that add up to a life I'm proud of. I found a photograph in her house after she died. It's me at age 7 sitting in her kitchen covered in flour from helping her make lemon bars. I'm laughing, she's laughing. We're both covered in powdered sugar. I framed that photograph. It sits on my desk where I can see it when I'm working. A reminder that someone saw me. Someone believed in me enough to plan for my future, even when I couldn't see past my parents' expectations. If you're watching this and you've ever stayed silent to keep the peace, I want you to understand something. Silence isn't peace. Silence is the price you pay for someone else's comfort. And the cost is always higher than you think. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because they're family. You don't owe anyone forgiveness just because they apologized. You don't owe anyone the benefit of the doubt when they've shown you exactly who they are. Aunt Donna taught me that. She taught me that love is action. Love is documentation. Love is setting up a safe deposit box 8 years in advance because you know your sister will try to destroy your niece. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm just clear. And clarity feels a lot like freedom. If you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping yourself, type "I chose me" in the comments. Or if you're still figuring out how to make that choice, type "I'm learning." Both are brave. Both are valid. If this story meant something to you, Check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.